Okay, welcome everybody. I'm going to talk through our housekeeping slide first, and then we'll get into the webinar content. So today's webinar is scheduled to last for an hour, including a Q&A. So we've got plenty of content to get through, quite technical content. But we're going to have a Q&A at the end, so hopefully I'll be able to answer some of your questions. If you want to use closed captions, we have Jen doing the closed captioning for us today. So you can just press the CC button at the bottom of your screen. We also have British Sign Language interpretation from Claire and Pauline. So throughout, you should be able to see those on your screen. This webinar is recorded, so we will send it to you alongside other resources as well within the next 7 days. So if you check your email from this morning, you should have received the slides as well. So if you want to look through the different steps of the slides throughout this presentation, you should have already received them this morning. Please say hello in the chat. If you select everyone from the drop down, then all the other attendees can see your message as well. And can you just make sure that the reaction button's working? Can you press some of those? So I can see that, yeah, yes. Love heart straight away. Perfect, thank you. Lovely, excellent. Let's get going, everybody. Should be a good one today. There's lots to go through. So today's webinar is all about Google Analytics 4 and how to audit your account. I'm James, your data analytics and insight tech champion. And today I'm in my blue room. I've got brown hair. I'm a white man with a green jumper on, in his 40s. So in today's session, these are the things we're going to talk through. Firstly, it's the common configuration issues that we see in Google Analytics 4. I speak to organizations all the time, helping them with their different accounts and properties. And these are some of the things that I see. And hopefully by the end of this webinar, you'll identify them yourselves and be able to check them yourselves. So the second point is that I'm going to outline things for you to check and how to resolve them. And then we're going to go through some of the terminology and what things really mean as well. So there's going to be lots of descriptions and guides for you as well. As a warning, I'm just going to put this in now. This is higher level stuff with Google Analytics 4. It's intermediate and advanced level. So if you feel like it's quite overwhelming, we're aware of that. This content is set at that level. But hopefully we've described everything at each stage with simple terminology for you to understand, with descriptions on how to resolve stuff and where to go when you need to do that. So if you get stuck at any point, we are here to help you. That's what this service is. It's free support for creative and cultural organizations in England and individuals as well. So if you need any help, please get in touch. We're here to help you. So let's get started with this content. There's lots to get through. So the way I've structured this, this session is in a few different sections. The first one is we're going to look at control. So who has access to your analytics account, who can make changes to it. The second is configuration. So what settings should be on or off, and what we recommend as we go through that. Also, a really important one at the moment is all about compliance. So are you tracking people after you've asked them whether you can or not? And I'll talk through what that all means and how to be compliant. And the fourth area we're going to look at, unfortunately, it doesn't begin with CO. It's spam. Boo hiss, everybody. We don't like spam. We see that in some of our Google Analytics 4 accounts, that spam traffic coming in. So I'm going to show you ways that you can identify that spam and then how you can fix it and remove it from your accounts as well. Yeah. So first off, control. It's really important to understand who is the administrator of your account, who has access to it, and how you manage your own access to your account as well. So we're going to look through some of the settings and how you can check. So the first question to ask is who actually controls your account? It's really, really important. And what I see sometimes when I'm speaking to organizations across the country is that you'll have your account, and your account's level is who owns the different properties that you might have within it. So you'll have different properties for each website that you own. So you might have your organization name, and then within that, you'll have different properties. So what I see sometimes is this one. So we'll have the account owner is actually a digital agency, and then your website is a property within it. And then what you would like, what's really important to have, what I recommend having, is actually your organization as the account level, and then your properties. So you might have multiple websites underneath your organizational name. I'm going to show you a screenshot of what that looks like. So check what yours is like. If it's an agency that owns your account, it means that they own they own your data, they own control of your data, and they can control who can access it as well. They can still have access to your account. You can add them as users if you are the account owner. So don't worry about that. You should own it yourself. This is an example I've seen a few times. In this example, we see that mind unit. So if you're in your analytics account and you click the little drop down at the top where the account name, the property name is, this will come out, this drop down. And here we can see that the account, the Google Analytics 4 account, is actually owned by Mind Unit, which was an agency. And underneath that, there were different creative organizations and websites within their property. So they'd created this account and then had properties underneath it. Now, the problem with this is that Mind Unit, this organization, this agency, it went bust in 2014. And so all of these properties are now controlled by something that doesn't exist. And that's why it's so important for you to actually control your own account and then control your own properties as well. So just to reiterate that, this should be your organization at this level, and your properties, you can have multiple websites underneath it. What you might see in your account as well is that this drop down up here, where it says all accounts, you might see something different. And that's because the Google marketing platform is another level that sits above all of these as well. So potentially your Google account is within a Google marketing platform organization as well. So just check that as well. It's not a bad thing. It's just that whoever is owning the Google marketing platform has full control over the users and administrators of your account. So just be aware of that. This is the Digital Culture Network property. So our organization is actually Arts Council England. So at the account level is Arts Council England, and then the property level we have is Digital Culture Network. So we have our different properties. You can see there's different websites under here as well. So have a look at yours. Ideally, you want to be in this structure. So the second thing to check under control is the actual Google account setup. Now, your Google account, you can do it in different ways. And we've got two examples here. One is yourorganization@gmail.com. And the second one is marketing@yourorganization.co.uk. Does anybody know which one is better to use and why? Stick it in the chat if you do. We've got Gmail, we've got marketing at, second option. There we go. I think somebody's hit the nail on the head there. So Karina says that marketing at your organization is better because Gmail is an unprotected account. So exactly, and other people have noted this. So what happens if you lose access to your Gmail account? So I've just shot ahead then. If you lose access to that Gmail account, you lose access to your Google Analytics account, if that's your main administrator. And if you've probably seen this, where if your Google account is a Gmail account, you've got one login, you're sharing across different people, and you might have two-factor authentication where you need to get a phone number to send a text message and all of those different things to actually get access to it. Now, if that person who has the phone leaves the organization, you might lose access to this account. So, but what you're able to do is create a Google account using your own email addresses. And I highly recommend that, because what you can do is that you can have one level where, one level where the main account, so a shared inbox like marketing at your organization could be your administrator. And then you could have another one. So your different people that you work with in your organization can have different access levels as well. So then you could have marketing at as your administrator. And then if I was working in your organization, you could set me as an editor. It means that it restricts the permissions and the ability to add users and make big changes to your Google Analytics 4 account to only the people that you want to. And if people leave, it's not a problem because you can add users in and you're going to always be able to maintain control. So don't do that. And then have those ticks as well. Catherine says, we have an issue of needing two-factor authentication from a member of staff. Thankfully, they haven't left, but it's been a pain when on annual leave. So it's exactly that. If you have multiple users, you can get around that because your two-factor authentication is attached to you as a user. It's really easy to change, Julie. What we do is in your administration section of your analytics account, what you'll have is account access management. So this section here, if you click that, if you're an administrator, you'll have full access to add or change users. What you might see is this, which is what we've got. So our user, our digital network at artscouncil.org.uk, this doesn't have full permissions for the account, but it does it at the property level. So you might have access to change it here. Otherwise, you'll be able to do it at the property level as well. So as we go down into the options, there's a property access management, and then you will see a list like this. So Julie, this is where you can add and change users. So you press the big plus button in the top right, and then you put in the email address of what the Google account is. So that Google account has to be created in advance. So you take your marketing at email address or your name at your organization email address. And if you go to Google, if you type Google account into Google, it'll give you the option to create a new one. And there's an option there to create using your own email address. So it's quite small text usually, but there is an option there for you to do that. What you'll see in this list is that there's different roles and restrictions. We have people that are analysts, administrators, editors, or viewers, and they've got all different levels of access to your analytics account. So I recommend checking this. So go to these sections of your analytics account, check these different sections, and then just see who has access. There might be some legacy users in there that you've not worked with for ages. You can just remove them. They don't need to be there anymore. They won't get a notification, so don't worry. Okay, yeah, so that's the add users button. So the second section I want to talk about, just to answer Jenny's question there. So how can I check my access level? So when you log in, it will actually tell you, and if you can go to the section, it will give you the options, and it will tell you what you can and can't do. There are certain sections within the admin area where you won't be able, they'll be grayed out if you don't have certain access. So it's all based on viewer, analyst, and editor. So some sections will be grayed out. That's the quickest way to check, really. Just go ahead. So over to configuration. So these are some of the recommended configurations that is the first step with most accounts. Now, I've covered this in webinars in the past, so I'm going to quickly go through it here. And as I mentioned earlier on, you would have received an email this morning with the slides, and then you can just look through them and follow these different steps as well in there. So the first one is turning enhanced measurement on. So this is stuff like outbound clicks from your website, your site search facility, your video engagement for YouTube videos. You can turn this on to track these things automatically. We recommend turning the form interactions off because it doesn't work very well and it passes a lot of weird data in there. And you can do that in this section. If you go to, I've just written down the section of where you can find this. So if you go to the admin section, and it'll be under data collection and modification, data streams, your website, and then there'll be this section that you'll be able to toggle things on and off as well if you press the cog icon. Secondly is adding your domains into two different areas as well. So this is telling Google what is the website that you're expecting data to come from. And these are in 2 sections. So in admin section again, you can follow this thread through to the right area. And you'll see that what we've added in is our website, which is digitalnetwork.org.uk. And we've also added in Eventbrite as well. So when you booked onto this webinar, you may have gone to our website and then booked in through Eventbrite. So because it's part of the user journey that we're tracking, we've added Eventbrite in there as well. So it's you putting in anything where you've got a ticketing system, a shop system or something like that, and the journey that you want people to go through and you're tracking, just make sure that they're in there as well. It just helps Google understand, and it will just improve your data that you have as well. And the third one is just increasing the data retention for certain things. So again, in the admin section, under data collection and modification, there's one for data retention. And what you'll see is this one here. So that is normally set to 2 months. Now, a lot of the data in Google Analytics 4 is aggregated. So there's no issue when it comes to looking back at historical data. But some of the data, some of the specific data, an example of that is if you've got file downloads, you will always be able to report on how many were downloaded, but not specifically how which ones they were. And that setting here is for that type of data, of that granular data. So with file downloads, if you don't change that to 14 months, you're only going to be able to ever look back at 2 months of data. So just change that setting. You'll have to look at those things for a bit longer as well. There are also things called product links that you can turn on in your analytics account. So if you go into the admin section, under product links, there are 2 things here that you might want to turn on. The first one, and that enables you to see the keywords and impressions and clicks from actual Google search results. So how your website ranks for different keywords in Google search itself. So you can link that data in. And if you are running Google ads, you can link that in here as well. So you can see the impact of the ads on the activities that they're doing on your website, and are people doing the things you want them to as well. So my next section is compliance. So this is really, really important. To be compliant with a few different rules and regulations, what you should do before you do any tracking on your website and set cookies, so that little bit of information, that little text file of information that enables tools to track people, you should ask for consent before doing so. So if someone visits your website, they should see, go the wrong way, a message such as this. So a pop-up message saying, can we track you using cookies? And there should be options to accept and decline, and give the user choice about what that is. So if that's the case, if you've got that set up, great. If not, it's something that you should consider as a priority of setting up. Now, one further, the digital agency, which really good, doing amazing stuff with data and everything like that, they've created a few different resources around this. So I think Dean's going to pop that in the chat for you. So I recommend reading this just to understand what cookies mean. Because if you are doing any type of tracking, it doesn't have to be advertising. Just Google Analytics alone uses cookies, and you need to ask for consent in advance of that. So there are a few different platforms that you can use, and I'll send you in the resources a list of what they are. But here's a quick example of what they are. You'll see that there's some here with different pricing about how much they cost per month. So it does add up, depending if you have different websites and subdomains, the costs can get quite high. But for most websites, you're looking at about £10 a month to be compliant with this kind of tracking, and for the different rules and regulations that you must adhere to, essentially. Okay, So if you log into your Google Analytics 4 account, you might see this message. Google are adding a few different banners of messaging for different things at the top. So it gets quite busy, this space at the top of your account. But you might see this setting about verifying your data consent settings. And that's what this is all about. This is about asking for consent from your users as they go through to your website for the first time. Can you track them or not? If you see this banner, and there'll be an option for manage data. As we go down, it will take you to this page, and you'll see here that your settings will tell you whether you are sending any consent data yet or not. So in this account that we're looking at here, it has got a cookie consent platform set up, and it is sending data. So that's why we've got the ticks here. So check yours, see if you've got that set up. If not, it's really important you start to think about that soon, and especially if you're doing advertising. And again, with one further, the articles that they've been writing, this one in January that was written is about Google Consent Mode version 2. So I recommend reading that as well. If you're doing advertising, so as I mentioned, it's really important that you have consent anyway, but especially if you're doing advertising, you need to make sure that you are sending this data, you are asking for consent. So that includes Google ads and Meta ads and things that you might be running. So really important. Just saw a note in the chat there. So does that only apply to Google Analytics and not privacy first analytics platforms? So with all of these, it's just whether they're setting cookies essentially. So a privacy first analytics platform, some of them don't set cookies at all. So you don't have to ask. And it's all about that. It's just explicit consent for tracking in that way. Privacy first ones, you won't have that issue with. Okay, so we've gone through our 3 sections. I know there's a lot to take in for a start. We're now going to go into something that ruins our data. So those first ones is what we can configure to make sure that the data, the account itself is in a good standing and we have full control over it. This next one is when things are going in there that we don't want, and it's called spam. And nobody likes spam in their account. It ruins things. It ruins your stats. Your numbers might be all over the place. You'll see big spikes in traffic. So I'm just going to show you an example of that. And then we're going to go through some examples and how to fix them as well. So that's what we're going to talk through the next stage here. Okay, so spam. In this example, the standard traffic that we saw coming into the account, you'll see these low levels. Well, they were fine levels as we were seeing. And then this huge jump in traffic we saw over this. So in this report we're looking at here, we just logged into the analytics account. We're under acquisition and traffic acquisition. And this spike in traffic was just unexpected. Happened in, I think it was in February, we saw this traffic jump up. And you'll see that the referral is where Google is categorizing that traffic. So the default channel group is referral. If we look, if we just scroll down this report, we can look at the actual report itself. Now, I've changed the drop down here to look at the source and medium. So the default channel group itself will just show a referral as a really high one. If I choose session source / medium, I can then see where that traffic is coming from. So I can identify some of these interesting websites that are sending this traffic. And if we look at the stats, is there anything here that people can see that there's something not quite right? Anything jump out to anybody? That's it, 0 seconds, 0 engagement. Excellent. So if we look at these, there's something, surely you have to be on the website and do something if you're an actual user. So that's what we're seeing, to see these potential spam things. And if we're looking at the data in this way, it can help identify some of that, but it's still quite difficult in the Google Analytics 4 reporting itself. So, because we're lovely and we love you and we want you to be successful in everything you do, we've created something for you, a Google Analytics 4 tool, just for you, our lovely creative and cultural organizations out there. So I'm going to talk through that now about how it works and how you can use it, and hopefully it's going to help you with some of the exploration of the data that you have and identify some of this as well. So I'm going to take you over there now. I'm going to talk through some of the things that we've seen, and here we go. And we'll share a link. Dean, don't share the link yet. Oh, he's already shared it. Don't nobody click that link. So you might break it if everybody looks at it now. Please don't click the link. So this is the tool. Don't click it yet. You can click it in a bit. I'm just going to switch to my other one. Which one? This one. Sorry, Dean, I should have mentioned that. So this is the tool, and I hope that the way that I've written the explanations for this, and as we see everything we go through, you'll be able to use it and understand how to use it. But essentially, if you are logged in with the Google account that has access to your analytics account, you will be able to pick your account from this drop down at the list up here. So in this list, you'll be able to click it. As the default data that you see in this report, in this audit tool, is Google's merchandising store. So it's just some demo data you'll see. So this, if you just load this report up, you'll see these numbers down here. But if you're logged into your analytics account, so I'm logged into my Google account, which means that I can pick this and then choose my analytics account from this list. It's really small, the text in here, so apologies. That's the one thing that we can't change to improve accessibility for this, because it's really grey, really tiny, bits of text. So apologies for that. But in this list, you can use the search facility, or you can just click the one that you want. So I'm going to click the Digital Culture Network analytics account for our website, and that will reload the data in this report that we're looking at. So this first page that we have here have some different checks. So we're looking at data quality, some of the configuration options, and some of the customizations that you might have as well. In this list, there are explanations for each one. So, for example, do you have this many web pages? And then for our website, it's 453. And then an explanation about what that actually means. So if it's lower than expected, GA4 might not be installed on all of your pages. If it's higher, there might be a configuration issue. If you want to look at that data, you can then click View Data. And what it will do is take you to one of the pages which so you can interrogate that data a bit more. So do you have this many web pages? An explanation of what that means. The slash is your home page. And you can see in this list about what pages they are, and you can just scroll and to see all the different pages that you've got across your website and whether they're legitimate and as they should be. This host name button here, if I click that, you'll see, I'm not sure if you can see because it's a bit small, but our website is in that, so digitalculturenetwork.org.uk. But it's also collecting data from multiple different domains from Eventbrite, because they have different domains for different areas of the world, which is this whole many domains, and essentially it's just the same. It's the same event and the same thing that you can book into. So with that, I know Dean's already shared it, but you can start to use that. If you don't see a drop down here, it means that you're not logged into a Google account. So you're not logged in. I'm logged in at the moment to this one. So you just need to log in. I'm not sure if a sign in button appears up there, but you need to you could first go to analytics and log into that, and then come to the tool, and then it should appear. You should be able to do it. Okay. I'm just going to switch to a different account, to the one that we were looking at in our example. So identifying that spam traffic. If I click here, for the account that we're looking at, we saw that huge spike from February through all the way through, and as we got through. And we saw that it was certain domains that were sending that traffic. So this report is looking at those. So we can see here that we've got 1,700 users from this specific website. And if I click that, I can then filter down just to look at that data in this report. So it's doing something called cross-filtering in this report. And can anybody see anything that it's a certain demographic or thing that we're seeing that we could identify these users as in this report? Yeah, so Cash has got it. So we can see here that by filtering by that website, popular in Poland, we can see that the country and the region is Mazovian voivodeship. We need Evelina on the call so she can pronounce that correctly. But this spam traffic that we're seeing, because it's 0 sessions, 0 engaged sessions, is a specific region of Poland. So if we wanted to remove this from our report, what we can do is go to our analysis account. I'm just going to go back to this one. We could add a filter in. So when we're in our analytics account, we can click add filter, and it will give you this option to build a filter on the right hand side. And for this example, I'm saying the region, and it says does not exactly match. So I want to remove it, and I take it out, and then I've put in that region of Poland. So by doing that, adding that filter in within analytics, the data is not now this huge spike from referral traffic. It's actually a much healthier breakdown of paid search, organic search, and direct traffic that we see in this breakdown here. So this report is actually just excluded everything of that spam traffic that we've seen, and then it's just showing us there. Okay, so Dean, you can share that link now in the chat for the tool if people want to click that and have a go at using it, and maybe that will spark some of the questions with the Q&A, and we can talk through some of this tool. But while we're there, I'll just talk through it and the different sections of it and why we've got them in there. So Jenny, yes, you can permanently exclude the spam if you want to. So there's a couple of different ways, but in that filter that we had in that example, what you're able to do is actually add a filter in for your main reports as well. So in the top right corner of your reports, there is a pencil icon, and you can press the pencil icon and add permanent filters in at that stage as well. And then you can save them to that report or create a brand new report with all of that spam data excluded as well. Google Analytics 4 is actually really good at excluding spam traffic usually. Sometimes we do see it come in, like this case, and then sometimes after a few weeks, it disappears. So Google are on it and they actually remove it. This one's been around for quite a while though now, so it's still there, which is unfortunate. But if your target audience isn't in Poland, you can safely remove that from your reports and you're not going to miss out on too much. Or you could be really specific about that region as well. But check your account, you might see the same. I've seen it on a few different ones from that region of Poland. Okay, so I'll just talk through the different sections of this, and then we can jump on the Q&A, and then we'll just go through your different questions that you might have, because I know this is probably going to highlight a lot of issues or problems with your data, and hopefully we've got explanations about how to fix them in there. But we're really interested in your feedback for this tool about does it work for you? Does it make sense for a start? Hopefully it does. And then if you want support with that, to improve some of this data as well, you can download the report by clicking that. It will save it as a PDF, and then you can just email it to us, and then we'll help you look through it and fix those problems as well. So I'm just going to talk through some of these that we see in this and why we're here. So we've had a look at how many web pages you have. So do check that. If your number is really low, it might be that they're not on every page. If they're really high, there might be some weird things going on with the data, but you can check it on that list that you see down there. The second check is around your percentage of direct traffic. So direct traffic is when Google doesn't know where these people have come from. So it could be that they're using bookmarks, or they've shared a link to your website on encrypted platforms and things like that, such as WhatsApp. So people just appear on the website in Google's eyes. If it's higher than 30%, there's usually something wrong. And I've helped quite a few organizations get around that. Sometimes it's with a cookie consent platform. Sometimes it's with like ticketing systems and things like that. And it's just all about the journey that people are going on. The third one here is about unassigned traffic. Google categorizes the website traffic coming into your website in different ways. So we have like organic search when people are searching on Google. We have direct that we've looked at. We've had referral websites. But if it doesn't match any of those, but there is some data in it, you'll see it go into unassigned. And if I look at this one, there's an explanation of what that means. But you'll see in this list that some of them, they just don't match what Google is expecting. It's not a bad thing. It's just something that you'll see in your list of unassigned traffic. But what you can do is either change the naming convention of your campaign tracking that you might be using to match what Google expects, or you can actually create, you can configure it to do your own channel grouping instead. You can actually configure Google Analytics 4 to do that. So then you'll reduce the amount of unassigned traffic that you have. There is a hyperlink there that I'll add in actually for that bit. I'm just going to go back. The next one is how many domains are sending traffic. So I was shocked when I loaded this up for our Digital Culture Network website. I was like, we don't have 12 domains. We have 1 or 2. So when I was looking at that, it was that list of Eventbrite. So because Eventbrite is sending traffic through its different worldwide websites it has, that's why I was seeing it big split across there. But check yours. You might have things like your staging website on there, which you can exclude. You could either do it from your reporting side, or you could do it from when the data is going in. So if you're using things like Google Tag Manager to send data into your Google Analytics 4 account, you could exclude it from your staging sites. So there's a few different methods that you could do there. So check yours. 404 pages, we all have those. So don't worry about having some, because it does happen, but do check them. In this list, it will tell you what they are. For us, it's because we have event pages on our website and the events pass, and then people are still trying to reach those event pages. They've clicked through and then we hit this. That's why we see that in there. But what you're able to do is that you can click these links. So if I click this top one, it will reload the next table and then show me where that traffic has come from. So you'll see that 3 people have come from Google Organic. So it's appearing in Google search. Some people have clicked a link from LinkedIn. Someone's clicked in from investinhartlepool.co.uk. So if you check where they're coming from, you can either approach those websites and then say, can you change the link, please? Because it's going to a page that doesn't actually exist. Or you could get fancy and do a redirect. So that's something that we should do on this, is actually redirect our event pages through to the webinar recordings, if they're an online event at least. So that's something for us to think about. And as we go down here, so engagement rate, I've not seen, I don't think I've seen any websites yet that are over 80%, but if it is over 80%, there's something wrong, something to check. And And number 7, really, really important one. We don't want any personal data. So anything which is identifiable for specific people to come into your reports. Now, this check looks for email addresses in any URLs. So it's only a quite simple check, this one. But do check the other data that you have to make sure no address data and stuff is coming into any places like that, because it's not allowed to be stored in Google Analytics at all. So make sure it's not there. If it is in there, you can actually remove it. So I've put a link in here of how you can remove any personal PII, personally identifiable information from your reports. You'll also see this section, which is all about demographics. So if you've turned it on, which is Google Signals, it can give you data about your logged in users. So their age, their basic gender, and their advertising interest as well. So those things uses the Google advertising network. So you need to ask for consent first. So again, if you're using, if you turn this on, you must have your cookie consent all set up. Brilliant. Let's go back here. So I'll just do a couple more and then we'll just jump to the Q&A because I can see there's lots of questions. That's really good. So some of these, just the last one I want to show you on, this one is about the actual events as well. So events are any interaction across the website that you want to track. And Google Analytics 4 will track some of those as standard. But if I look in the event section, I've got a big explanation about what these things mean. So hopefully that makes sense. But what you'll see in this table is all the events that are coming into your website. We've got things that we've passed in. So Ask a Tech Champion. So when people get in touch with us for support, we're tracking that as an objective for us. So we've set it up as a custom event and it's a key event for us. So it's one of our core conversion points. And if you look at your website, see what's in here, see what, if you've got enhanced measurement turned on, if you're collecting any custom events, and are you tracking key events as well? So check this list. If you need any help setting things up, you can do. And you'll see events over time in this at the bottom bit. Okay, I'm sure you'll have loads of questions about this as we go through. Let's go to the Q&A, Dean. But before we do that, just to let you know that we are here. We're here for you. So we can support you in not just this, but loads of other ways as well. And it's for free. So don't be afraid to get in touch. That's what we're here for.
Well done, James. That was a masterclass in delivering a webinar, and quite frankly, scary for when I would do mine. Really well done. We've got loads of great questions. Where do we start? Is there a way to reclaim administrative access if you've lost control of it? For instance, if an agency or now departed staff member has left and you can't access their email?
Yes, so there's a form that you fill out with Google, and what you need to do is, I've helped a few people with this one actually. I'll make a note to add this to the resources so I can send it to you. There we go. You have to add a text file to your website, and then you fill out a form with Google and say, please give me access to this, and then it will do that for you. It takes a while, but you can reclaim access, so it is possible, yeah.
Okay, excellent. Regarding consent, Esther says that they don't see the banner, but I have the impression that we're not doing it. So how can they check if they don't see the banner?
So there's a few tools that you can use. Which one's the one Andy used in his webinar? I can't remember what it was called now. I'll see if I can find it.
Well, yeah.
It was quite a good one, wasn't it? Yeah, it was the cookie script one.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's a couple of different ones, but yeah, so this is one example. It's cookie script. If you type in cookie checker or something like that into Google, you then put in your website address there, and it will do a scan of your website. So it will say whether any cookies are set before consent is actually asked for. So there's that one, and yeah, there's cookie yes one. That's quite good. Yeah, that's the one I think.
I think the problem with the cookie thing is that they just all blend into each other, don't they?
Yeah, they're
And their
all.
logos look similar. Um, Alice would like to know, how do we set up ads consent? Is this through the same place as general cookies?
So usually I recommend using Google Tag Manager to manage a lot of the consent that you want to pass through to Google Analytics 4, as well as the other advertising things that you might be running as well. So what Google Tag Manager is essentially a platform to hold all the scripts and things that you might want to run on. So you place Tag Manager script on your website, and then you manage all of the scripts within Tag Manager itself. What that enables you to do is a lot of the cookie consent platforms will give you the options to automatically decline the types of tracking. So analytics storage or personalized ads personalization storage as well. So you can give them the options when they visit your website about what they can or can't be tracked on. So it'll give you the different toggles on, and that passes the data back to analytics and the cookie consent platform itself.
Cool.
Hope that makes sense.
With regards to the filter, I've just sort of summarising Esther's second point is that she does she obviously goes onto the website quite a lot, and she's sort of concerned that they want to exclude themselves from going on there and appearing in the report. There is a way of excluding their IP or their location, similar to the Polish visitors. Is that right?
No, is the
Oh,
short answer. So if
damn! I
you
need to watch the replay.
yeah. So if I excluded like where I live, Preston, it would exclude everybody from Preston, which we don't want, because we want to see those people. If you want to exclude yourself, this is what we do at the Digital Culture Network, and it's something I recommend, is that if you have a compliant cookie consent thing on your website, as an employee of the organization, when you visit the website, just say no, and you won't be tracked then. That's the easiest way. Secondly, there's a plugin that you can get for your browser that you can, it will just block all tracking. So that's another way of doing it. But with IP addresses, they're anonymized now in the European Union and the UK. So you can't specifically target people like you used to, unfortunately. So
Revelation.
use a cookie consent and then just decline cookies.
Lucy says, I think we get a lot of spam from direct stroke not set. How do we deal with that?
It's identifying, maybe using the spam checker, the spam hunter, whatever it is, that section. See if it throws up anything that is common. So it might be a common location, a common place that traffic is coming from. What we usually see, if it's direct and not set, it's either a ticketing system that it's passing data through and they're just appearing out of nowhere, or it's if your landing pages are not set and it's direct traffic, what it is just the way Google Analytics 4 works. So essentially, if someone visits your website and leaves your website in another tab, Google Analytics, that session will expire. So Google won't track that person while the tab's there. If you reopen that tab, that person has just appeared out of nowhere. And it doesn't send another page view event through to analytics. So there is not set for their landing page. It's a direct user, and they've just appeared out of nowhere in Google's eyes. So that's just a quirk with the way the Google Analytics 4 works. But if you are seeing a massive number of directs and a massive number of not set for other things, then it might be spam. But get in touch. We can help you dig deeper into that data.
Excellent. I've got one here that says, is our organization's GA4 data secure if we use your Looker Studio reports? Can you see it too? Good question.
That is a really, really good question. The answer is no. So what this is, it's got the default data it's got is linked to the Google merchandise store, their demo data. So that's what loads the first time you load it. Once you log in and you pick from this list, it's only pulling your data. So your Google account is the one that's linking those two together. Nobody else can see that data. It's essentially just loading it into the template on your behalf, but it doesn't save it anywhere, and only you can see it. So don't worry about anybody else sharing your data in any way. Nobody can see it. But thank you for that. It's a really good question.
No, that's a great question. The report tells Damien that a third of the web pages are 404, but a quick check on the ones it came up with aren't 404 pages.
Interesting.
Yes, that might need further investigation.
Yeah. So with the 404 page, this isn't perfect because I tried to mention it here that sometimes a 404 page doesn't have some of the things that this is trying to check against. So if it doesn't have a page title when you hit a 404, it shouldn't be necessary. But the pages that are visiting, if they're appearing this list, they should, in theory, be matching. It should have 404 in the page title, or unavailable, or 404 in the URL. So it's just checking against those few things. So have a look at what it actually is pulling through in this list, and then we'll see. But again, if you want help to dig deeper into that, we can have a look.
Okay, Joe figured it out. I love the way Joe left a paragraph of problem and then quickly came back 10 minutes later and said, no, I've sorted it. So you're that one. Elliot says, our data has shown a very high number of new users, almost matching the amount of users. Is there something happening with cookies possibly?
Yeah, potentially. Yeah, with that. Yes. Because this is looking at 3 months of data, you should have had some return visitors in that period. What might be happening is that they're coming, but it's just clearing them off as new users. It sounds like it's a cookie consent issue, but it might.
Abby, sorry, this sounds like the next one, but it sounds like a potential case for you. Over the past few months, we've been unable to get the data stream from the website to show up on GA4. Our web developer has done everything he's meant to and double checked it, but he's stumped. He's linked up SiteKit onto our WordPress-based website, and it's showing search impressions, but no visitors. We can go next to find where can we go next to find out what might be the next issue? Ideally, not costing too much money to solve.
Yeah, just get in touch with me and we'll look into it. I love ones like that.
Yeah. It's like, we're stumped. We don't want to spend any money. Can you just give it a fresh pair of eyes and see if we're missing something?
We'll find. Yeah. We'll get to the bottom of that one. Don't you worry.
Lovely. Okay, Abby. So there you are. How do you add a ticketing website as a domain? Do you need permission from the ticketing people?
So no, you don't need permission. So if you've integrated Google Analytics 4 with the ticketing system, so it's either a field within the ticketing system where you've added your measurement ID, so your unique ID for your Google Analytics 4 account, or you've integrated it using things like Tag Manager or something like that. You don't. That data is going into your analytics account, and it'll appear as one of your host names. So, where are we looking? Is it this one? Oh no, it's domains, isn't it? This one. So in your list of domains, you should see the ticketing system in here. If you do, there's no problem adding it to your domain list and your referral exclusion list. All it's doing is telling Google Analytics 4 where you're expecting data to come from.
Does that change if the following question is sort of leads on to that? So how might you add and manage a ticketing domain if it changes per event? Does that make any difference?
The domain itself shouldn't change. The URL might change.
Yep.
But the domain itself shouldn't change. If you're using different ticketing systems, like or different venues that you're sending people to, that would be very different use case of analytics. And it'll be quite difficult to add your analytics to all of those. So what I would recommend doing is actually your objective tracking is tracking the book now button on your website when they leave. So that's the objective that you're trying to get people to do is an intent to buy something.
Okay. Are 404 pages still an issue if customers are coming through the past events via old social media posts?
Well, it's not, none of it is a problem, no. But what you might want to do if you're seeing high volume, like loads and loads of people, is set up a redirect. So there are a few different ways that you can do that, is actually redirect that traffic. So if the URL equals this, then send them somewhere else instead.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because you don't want to be deleting old social media posts, which was the sort of follow-up question is, or do we have to delete old social media posts? It'd be better just to redirect. We've got time for a few more questions. In terms of personal data, our admin's email address shows up as P11 or P11. Is that an issue? Sounds like it could be. We have it as a button so people can click on it to email them.
Yeah. So no, if it's your email address, your organizational email address, it's not an issue. So don't worry about that. It's only like users email addresses.
We got a thumbs up from somebody there. It meant more to them than it certainly did to me. I manage the local government community directory, and my primary performance indicator is total website visits. Google Analytics 4 doesn't capture data from users who haven't accepted cookies. Is there a way to find or estimate the number of missed visits?
So Google Analytics has its own data modeling built in. So the people that say yes and people say no, it will work out potentially how many, but for it to be able to do the modeling, it requires quite a lot of data to go in. And I think it's something like 1,000 per day. So it all depends on the volume that you're getting in, whether it'll do the modeling and then give you the predicted stats. Another way that if you are using cookie consent and the cookie consent platform tells you the opt-in, opt-out rate, so for example, it says 30% of your users opt out, what you could do is then add that to your data. So you could say, when you're doing your calculations, is your total users is 70, but we're going to add 30%. So my number is 100, if that's all right. Yeah. Yeah.
I've just scrolled down to see how many more questions we've got. Well, I think we've got easily another 20 questions. So would it be possible for us to answer those questions and provide links afterwards, James?
Yeah, so what I'll do is we'll take all this away and the resource I'll create and the email I'll send you will answer some of the ones that we've not got to today.
Yeah, because I'm scrolling down. I don't want to leave anybody out, but I just worry that we're never going to get anywhere close to answering them today. So it's coming up to 2 o'clock. So I don't know whether I wanted to hand back to you just so that you could sort of round things off and finish off.
Thanks, Dean. Yes, apologies that we've not got through all the questions. I don't think we've had so many before. It's quite a lot. The tool's there for you to use. Please let us know what you think about it. There's a link at the bottom with our email address. If you're not, if it's not working correctly for you and stuff like that, just let us know. We are here for you, the Digital Culture Network. There's a few different things. This is really important. Sorry, just going to talk about this before we go on. Is that the old analytics version, Universal Analytics, is going to stop working in July. So if you want to extract the data from it, you need to do so before July because it will be deleted forever. So please check that one out. Aside from that, please get in touch with us. We're here to support you. There's lots of us in the team that can help you with various different things and take you on your digital journey and support you through things like this and other things that you might want to do with digital technologies. So yes, hope you've enjoyed the webinar. I hope you use the tool. Please let us know how you get on with that. And you will receive a feedback survey as well. So please add your comments to that when it comes through. But yeah, thanks for joining us today. It's been great to see you all. And thanks for being such great audiences. Thank you.